live commentary. Norway against Scotland. It's Group A of the qualifiers for Euro 2024. Inside the stadium, Stephen Thompson and your match commentator, Liam McLeod.
Thank you, Richard. Good evening from blisteringly hot Oslo. Match day 3 for both Norway and Scotland in Euro 2024 qualifying Group A. The Scots on 6 points at the top of the table. Norway, just the one from their opening matches. Scotland fans in good voice, the Scotland players steely face down there as they sang along to Flower of Scotland. Now it's time for the national anthem of Norway. Well, there's a fantastic atmosphere inside the Ullevål, there's no question. The Norwegians have turned out, that's for sure. They could have sold out this place another couple of times, such was the demand for tickets, as the Scotland players walk up the line and shake hands with their Norwegian opponents. The towering Erling Braut Haaland standing at the end there, and a special hug from him for John McGinn, who was the last of the Scottish players. They'll now get their photographs taken. The captains will exchange pennants. Andrew Robertson and Martin Odegaard will do that. It's the 19th meeting between the nations. Scotland have a pretty good record against the Norwegians, winning 9 to their 3. The other 6 were drawn. It's the first meeting between them in almost a decade, since a 1-0 Scotland friendly win under Gordon Strachan almost 10 years ago in Molde. Scott Brown scored the only goal in November 2013, and it's just the second time they've been paired in European Championship qualifying after the campaign to reach Euro 1980 in Italy. The Scots won both meetings, but it was 2 of only 3 wins as they finished behind the qualifiers. Belgium and Austria and Portugal, Norway were winless in that group. So just about ready to go. Next couple of minutes, I mean, there can be no underestimating the importance of this match. This was always going to be one of the key fixtures in this group, even before Scotland shocked Group A by sweeping the Spanish aside in March. It was the games against Norway, these head-to-heads, that were always likely to be important with regards finishing in the top 2 of this group. Extra incentive for the Norwegians as well, the fact that they've only got the 1 point picked up in Batumi against Georgia, having lost 3-0 in Malaga to Spain. that extra incentive comes from the fact that they do not have the security and insurance policy of a playoff guaranteed at the end of this group, unlike Scotland, Spain and Georgia. It looks as though the Scots are going to shoot towards the Tartan Army in this first half. The Norwegian players are going into a huddle with the red jerseys and navy shorts, navy socks. Scotland all in white with navy flashes tonight. And as I say, they'll go left to right as we watch from up high at the back of the stand here above the right-hand technical area. The Norwegian players still having a few last-minute words with each other. Well, they can do collectively. And we are seconds away from match day 3 in Euro 2024 qualifying Group A. An enormous occasion. Can the Scots put serious daylight between they and Norway, or will the Norwegians bring themselves right back into the fold? It's all about to unfold here on Sports Sound in the Norwegian capital, Oslo. The Slovenian referee's ready. Norway kick off, and it's just knocked back the way there to the Napoli defender Leo Skiri Ostegar, who puts it away out to that far side and into touch and out for a Scotland throw-in, about level with their own penalty spot over there. Kieran Tierney is over it. If you missed the starting 11 earlier, Angus Gunn continues in goal after his back-to-back clean sheets in March. Hendry comes in for Hanley in the only change, so Porteous and Tierney make up the back three. Hickey and Robertson in the wing-back roles. McGregor and McTominay, McGinn and Christie supporting Dykes. Norway just about as strong a starting 11 as they can put out. Shorn of a couple at the back, including the former Celtic defender Christopher Ayer, who isn't stripped this evening despite being in the squad, as Dykes wins yet another header and it breaks back Norway's way with Stefan Strandberg of Vålerenga, one of only a couple of players in the Norway starting 11 who ply their trade in their homeland. Stephen Thompson, the Scots will be looking for an early foothold here.
They will do. I mean, I'm expecting Norway to really come out of the traps. A couple of long balls early on up towards Erling Haaland. I think you see a lot of that during the game. But yeah, I mean, it's such a hugely important match.
Behind already, and Angus Gunn is to look lively to get out there just to snuff out the run from Alexander Sorloth. It was one long ball down that right-hand side, and Sorloth, who plays for Real Sociedad in Spain, was racing through to try to get onto it. Gunn got out there to help his defence out, though.
I think we're going to see a lot of that, Liam. We spoke about it before with the guys in the studio, and how it would be different from how Spain played when the game's all in front of you. I think when they can, certainly Norway will try and get in behind our defenders, and adds another layer to how difficult it's going to be for them this evening.
Long ball by Robertson. It's going to be taken down by Strandberg again, just rolling it out to the right-hand side there for Borussia Dortmund's Julian Ryerson. Scotland pinch it back though, wide on that left-hand side. Really good run by McTominay. He kept it in. I'm not sure he did.
No, he didn't.
It's just gone over the line just as he tried to hook it back into the Norway box. It will be a goal kick to the home team. 2-0, 0-0.
Good play from McTominay though. We've got a lot of energy in the middle of the park. We really do. It's going to be a fascinating battle in there to see who gains control of the game. But with McTominay and McGinn and Christie, all players who can run. Of course, Callum McGregor can do it all as well.
Norway have only won one of their last 6 matches, all told. It was a friendly victory over Ireland in Dublin last November. However, before that, they were on an excellent run of just 1 defeat in 13. And this is a Scotland team that's lost just 3 of their last 18. They've won 12 of the last 15 competitive matches.
It's incredible, that. Incredible stat, it really is.
Odegaard, his first real feel of the ball, just knocking it to the left for Ostegar. Back to Odegaard. And then it's Leo Skiri Ostegar again here, who was a bit part player for Napoli in their long-awaited return to winning the Scudetto. It's a loose ball there by Strandberg. Scotland have it back with McGinn. He pops it down the left-hand side there for Robertson to chase. Strandberg's there to work it back to his goalkeeper, and it's Nyland into feet and just rolling it away with Robertson bearing down on him, and it slipped out to Birger Meling on this left-hand side. Across the halfway line he goes. Sally Solbakken, the manager, standing down there right in front of Meling as he passed it back the way. Steve Clark to the right there in the technical area, directly down below us with his arms behind his back.
Plenty of suntan lotion on their heads as well.
I would suggest. Need that.
I mean, the temperature down at pitch side is, you know, incredibly hot, and it's going to be a factor because you're going to tire, you're going to dehydrate. It's intense heat they're playing in, really is.
30 Celsius, 31 Celsius at kick-off time. With an hour ahead.
The humidity as well.
Yeah.
Doesn't help, not a lot of air out there.
Stamberg into the centre circle for Ostergaard. Will then use the right foot to roll it along the grass to Melling on this left-hand side, back into his own half. Norway seeing plenty possession in these opening 4 goalless minutes. Now it is with Ostergaard again. Scored against Rangers in the Champions League, one of his rare outings this season. His misunderstanding on the far side, he goes through the legs of Ryerson and out for a throw into Scotland, and they'll be delighted to see that as often as possible tonight, will those Scottish players.
He was looking at the centre half as if to say blame the pass, but actually I think he just took his eye off it at the last second, lifted his leg and out for a throw for us. We'll take it.
It's fresh from serious disappointment. Julian Ryerson, the Norway right back, having lost out on the Bundesliga title on the last day of the season. Dortmund drew 2-2 with Mainz, threw away a lead as well, allowed Bayern Munich to retain it. Here's the former Dortmund striker Haaland with his first real touch of the ball as well, and as he pops it back into the centre circle for Solbakken, out to Melling on this near side, rolls it along the deck back into his own half for Ostergaard, and he switches it to the right of the centre circle for Strandberg. Out to the right flank, Ryerson back to Odegaard, up against his clubmate Tierney. Not sure they're going to be clubmates for much longer. And Kieran Tierney's search for first team football as Ostergaard plays it back to his goalkeeper Ryerson. He's outside his box, a long right foot ball forward over the head of Robertson. It goes. Now it's Ryerson down by the corner flag, plays it off Robertson. Did he? No, goal kick it is. Goal kick to Scotland, 5.5 in. It is goalless in the very early exchanges here in the Olival.
Yeah, a very similar one to the run earlier on down that right hand side in behind Andy Robertson. He actually made a bit of a mess of it in the end. The Norwegian fullback, he was in a good area, probably should have just whipped it in, but Andy Robertson defended the situation reasonably well.
Goal kick for Angus Gunn to take. Scotland, of course, finding their new number 1 in recent months as Gunn launches it forward. The header won by Ostergaard, heads it into the Scotland half. It's Porteous, he's passed it forward. It came bouncing off McTominay and then fired forward by Norway, but it's going to go out of play on this near side. I think it was Odegaard who was trying to slip it out wide left, but couldn't find a teammate, and it's going to be a throw into the Scots down on this near side, the Scottish right, as they attack the goal to the right, which is where the Tartan Army are bunched in behind Ryerson's goal there, just to the, as we watch, the kind of right hand side of the bottom tier.
They'll not be seen a lot, the sun will be right in their eyes.
Pass back to Hendry, and now it's with Tierney. Tierney rolling it out to that left hand side for Robertson along the deck. It goes up the line for McGinn, who goes down. Free kick, is it? Referee, yeah, he's given the free kick to the Scots, and that's what John McGinn gives you.
Clever
so
play.
Strong, yeah.
Yeah, clever play from him though. He waits on the contact. You see him doing it so often. Gets his backside in, feels the contact, goes down. Scotland get the free kick.
It's back with Gunn inside his own box, ball to feet. Haaland trying to close him down. He chips it out to the left for Robertson. Now McGinn gets a touch onto it, but he can only put it out for a throw in to Norway over on that far side. 0-0, 7.5 on the clock. It is the Norwegians in possession here with Strandberg. That is their weak area, is the defence, in the respect that they have not been playing too much football of late. None of them. As that's passed harmlessly out of the pitch on this near side by Frederick Auschnitz, who plays for Benfica in Portugal, but he was a teammate of Haaland's at Molde at the start of the striker's career. He had a good few years at Molde, and he's been making waves. He's a regular for Benfica. He's helped them win the Portuguese title again this season. The header from Ostergaard trying to get it away, but McTominay nods it back down to this right hand side looking for Dykes. Dykes goes down, no free kick. Melling picks up. Ostergaard plays it to Strandberg, who clears out to this near side. Little flick by Solbakken back into the midfield. It's hoisted up high into the air by Patrick Berg of Bodø/Glimt. Breaks back to him, cushion header for Odegaard. He's got an option to right now in Ryerson. 2 waiting now, 4 waiting in the middle. And it's Ryerson taking on Robertson. Test here. In comes the cross. It's too deep. Will break to the left-hand side of the box. Norway still have it. Melling picking up the scraps on this near side and looking to win the corner, and he's done just that. It's the first of the game. 9 in, Norway 0, Scotland 0.
I think he's given the throw in. Liam. But yeah, that was a good opportunity for Norway down the right-hand side.
Yep.
All 4 men that you mentioned that were in the box went to the front area. The ball in wasn't actually that bad a ball. Somebody should have hung out, spun out the back, but they all went underneath the ball, thankfully for us.
And the referee isn't happy with something.
What's he doing?
Well, I thought he'd initially given the corner. There's a second ball on the pitch, and now Melling. Well, it's a drop ball for Melling for some reason. Anyway, Melling in possession, rolls it back up the line, and it's Aursnes, long cross ball in from the left-hand side, beats everyone and goes behind for the goal kick. We played 9.5, Norway 0, Scotland 0 in Oslo.
Yeah, very tentative from us the start to the game. You know, a couple of longer balls up to Lyndon Dykes to fight and scrap for. We've not really had much control of the ball. Norway having most of the possession early on, but we're not the ones that need to force it, are we? They're the ones that need to go and force things. If the game finishes 0-0, it's a good result for us.
Yeah, a draw would be absolutely fine. There's Berg rolling it to his right for Odegaard. This goes back into his own half, and it's an awkward little touch there from Aursnes, but he got it back the way to Strandberg, out to the right for Ryerson, who's in possession here, having got it back from Sorloth. Long ball forwards, chip down the right hand side. He comes into the box, and Angus Gunn can hold on under no pressure whatsoever. Underarm ball to Porteous just outside his penalty area. He surveys the pitch ahead of him, elects to just play it back into his own box for Hendry. Short to his right for Porteous, forward to Christie's, come very deep to get a touch of the ball there. Porteous sweeps it forward to McTominay on the turn. He gets himself away from one, couldn't get himself away from Melling, having brushed aside Aursnes. And it's back with Ostegaard, who switches the play to Ryerson on the right, midway inside his own half. It's goalless here on Sportsound.
I was expecting Norway to come out the traps a lot more ferociously than they have done, Liam. A couple of balls over the top, a couple of balls into the box. They certainly had numbers in the box when the ball came in, but I wouldn't have said that they're peppering us at any real stage. Only 10 minutes in, of course.
They've got a good home record. They've only lost 1 of their last 10 on home soil. That was against Serbia in the Nations League last September. Long switch of play out to this near side. Gunn comes out of his box again and boots it into the stand with the right foot. 11.5 in. Throw in Norway. Level with the Scotland 18-yard line. Birger Melling is over it. And he bowls it short to Aursnes, who rolls it back the way to Ostegaard. Sweeps it into the centre circle for Strandberg. Short to Odegaard. And then to Ryerson on the right-hand side. To Odegaard again. Back to Ostegaard. Out to Melling on the near side. Norway peppering the ball around, and Haaland trying to free himself of Jack Hendry. Getting it from Melling. Haaland left-hand side of the box. Rolls it out wide left here for Solbakken. And back the way, it's passed to Aursnes. Now he's found Berg. Now it's Odegaard. Scotland seeing almost none of the ball in the last 5 minutes. Strandberg into the centre circle for Ostegaard. It looked as though Haaland was going to be in behind Jack Hendry momentarily there.
Yeah, I thought he would try and turn and face him up. Jack Hendry did well to stay really close to him, but I thought he had the opportunity to try and kind of roll him, but turned out the way.
There's a chance for a run from Aursnes. Rolls it out wide left for Solbakken. Level with the 6-yard line. The cross comes in. It's a good one. The header is straight at Angus Gunn from Erling Haaland. Haaland's first sight of goal. Either side of Gunn. And it's probably going in. The goalkeeper holds on. We played almost 13 0-0.
Yes, a fabulous ball in. It really is. And the left foot stood in. It's in the middle of the 6-yard box. And he absolutely has to score. It's straight at the goalkeeper. Angus Gunn would be delighted anywhere with a bit of angle on that. And it's almost certainly a goal. It's a really, really poor header. There's not really all that much pace on it either, as Lyndon Dykes gives away a foul. Yeah. Got away with one there, Liam.
Yeah, well, it was actually Haaland jumped up for it there, along with Sorloth. I think Sorloth's got the final touch on it. Yeah. So perhaps that's a good thing.
He knows it. I mean, there's a picture of his face there after the header. He knows that was a huge opportunity. A really disappointing header, but great wing play for the ball in.
Best chance of the game so far. It falls to Alexander Sorloth, who missed those 2 really excellent chances against Spain in their first match in this group. Goalless, almost on 14 minutes. We will go to Willie Miller when we get a suitable break in play to just get his take on the early stages of the match. It's been a difficult one for the Scots in these temperatures, these conditions, and the fact that they've been chasing shadows a lot of the time. And so we'll get to Willie in a moment, but Scotland have a throw in deep inside their own half. Here's Porteous, lets it fly, flick on by Christie, and Dykes plays it off Ostegar, and it goes out for a Scotland throw on the near side. Willie Miller, what are you making of it so far?
Almost 15 minutes gone, and Scotland seeing very little of the ball, not being able to keep possession. Maybe in the first opening exchanges they managed to put some passes together. They need to get more control of the ball. I think the good news is that it's still 0-0, because that Sorlock header should have been in the back of the net, shouldn't it? It's a big opportunity for them, and you hope that would continue, but you would also hope that Scotland would be a little bit more tighter in marking inside the box. But they need possession, I think, in these conditions as well. They're chasing shadows just now. I think the top of their list should be try to keep the ball, make some passes. I know it's difficult out there, but they've got to try and do that. So far in the game they haven't put any kind of a strings of passes together at all.
We're 15 minutes into the game and Norway have had 82% possession. That can't continue, as it's knocked back by Solbakken into his own half for Ostegar, and now it is with Strandberg, who plays it back to the Napoli defender here, and then to the right of the centre circle for Patrick Berg, who turns it to Odegaard. Haaland wants it, he's got his left arm in the air, it's worked out wide right instead, and there's an opportunity to cross here. Comes back to Odegaard, who's got it on his left foot just now in the right channel. He switches the play out to Birger Melling on this left hand side, up against Ryan Christie. Little ball in field, comes back to Melling. He's going to get it back here at the edge of the D. It was good build-up play, but Melling loses it just at the edge of the D. John McGinn picks up for Scotland. Wonderful turn from McGinn, he goes down. Referee doesn't see it as a foul, so Norway will play on. Solbakken clips it to the edge of the box, headed away by Hendry. It's an important phase in the game, you feel, for the Scots, this.
Well, we're certainly under an awful lot of pressure, Liam, that's for sure.
Here's Odegaard, midway inside the Scotland half. Just flicking it back the way there to Ostegar, out to the left for on this near side for Ausnes. He moves it into the centre circle for Strandberg. It's about everyone bar the goalkeeper Nyland's in the Scotland half. Just get the feeling they're getting deeper and deeper. Callum McGregor, I don't think's touched the ball yet. Here's Birger Melling. If you can get Callum McGregor engaged and involved in the game, then that's a good start. Good place
he's so
to start.
comfortable in possession, so good on the ball. Such a good passer of the ball, but unfortunately we've not kept the ball long enough for anyone to make a number of passes.
17 in, it remains 0-0, but it is all Norway. Little ball by Ostegar for Ausnes. Look to chip it out to the right hand side for Ryerson. McGinn gets his head onto it and out for a Norway throw-in. Just bowled back the way to Strandberg. Low ball to the right, Ryerson. Ryerson under pressure from both Tierney and McGinn, plays it back to Strandberg, who shifts it close quarters to Berg, and then out wide right it comes again to Sorloth, and now it's with Melling. Melling on the inside left channel, out to Solbakken at the left angle of the Scotland box. Solbakken going to pick his way through. He finds Melling, who crosses towards the back post, met by Ryerson, plays it back along the 6-yard line. It's blocked. Now Odegaard, the edge of the penalty area, dancing away from a couple of challenges. Then it breaks Callum McGregor's way, and he gets it clear for the Scots, and it remains 0-0 here in Oslo.
Yeah, we're living dangerously, we really are, Liam. The ball into the back post again, another good ball in. They're putting deliveries in, but we've got to stop that at source. That's 3 or 4 really good balls into the box. It came to the kind of back post area. The guy did not catch the shot well at all. When it rebounded to Odegaard at the edge of the 18, he should have got his shot off. He takes touch after touch after touch, and eventually we managed
Chance
to
here for Norway. Odegaard, he's got Haaland ahead of him. Odegaard keeps possession instead, rolls it to his left, inside the box. It's Solbakken, little dink ball forward, blocked by Porteous. They're claiming handball against Ryan Porteous here, as that goes out of play for a throw-in on this near side, and the VAR will obviously have a look at this.
They will. For me, I don't think his hand was in an unnatural position, but as we have seen throughout the course of the season in Scotland, not often, sometimes it comes off his knee first anyway, so it doesn't count. So we're fine.
Yeah, play on. Nice, quick, snappy decision there.
Yes.
Strandberg in the centre circle. Was it Porteous that had was it a handball in the Ukraine game, and there was the lengthy VAR check for a penalty which would have been awarded to the Ukrainians eventually. The Scots got away with it as the ball comes forward. It's Norway with Strandberg. He's giving it straight to McTominay. He finds Dykes wide on the left. It's now with McGinn as he turns it back the way into his own half. Scotland with a feel of the ball here. It's been a difficult opening 19 minutes. It's goalless here in the Ullevall. It's at the feet of Porteous, who squares it from midway point inside his own half on the right, inside right channel. Back to Tierney, pings the big switch of play out to this near side for Hickey, who can't get it under control. And it's just kind of come off the top of his foot and out for a throw. And Aaron Hickey's not been in the game either.
No, and Tierney doesn't need to play that pass there if it's the first time in the game. And because of the heat, just keep the ball. Norway weren't pressing us at the back, so just pop it about, keep it, have a minute or two where you keep the ball and get your breath back and kind of adjust to the game. But he tries a diagonal and we give possession away, but we've got it back.
Here's McTominay, Robertson to his left. Scotland attacking here for once. Robertson, McTominay was ahead of him. He elects to pass it back to McGinn, who takes his time, then disguises the ball. Robertson, left hand side of the box, tries to pull it back and wins the first corner of this match, and it's a Scotland corner, and that's much relief to the Tartan Army behind the goal there. 20 minutes in, 0-0.
Yeah, and it was good play from Scotland. John McGinn patient with the ball, just waiting on the run in behind from Andy Robertson was a good one, trying to flash it across the face where Lyndon Dykes had made a near post run. Comes off the defender, corner kick for us.
And an opportunity here, the big men up, Porteous, Hendry, Dykes in there, Tierney, McGinn's at the near post, McTominay's over the corner, in swinger with the right foot from the left hand side. It's just away from Dykes and it comes right across the 6-yard box. Tierney is going to keep it in play. He's done well down by this near side corner flag, the reverse side from where it was taken. Hits the cross ball in, Haaland heads it away, only as far as Christie. It's now with McGregor, who elects to go back into the centre circle for Robertson. Long angled ball for Tierney on the near side, cushion header into the box. Henry tries to get onto it and Melling concedes another corner. This is Scotland flickering into life for the first time in this Group A qualifier. 21 in, 0-0, and a second corner in quick succession to be taken by McGinn.
And you can hear what the fans think of it. They've obviously not enjoyed watching the opening 20 minutes, but certainly in the last 2 minutes we've had a wee injection.
Well, Mr. Set Play himself down there, Austin McPhee, one of the assistants down in the edge of the technical area, as the Scots try and conjure up something they've been working on for the last couple of weeks. Left-footed corner right on top of the goalkeeper, and Nyland holds on, and it stays Norway 0, Scotland 0 on 21.5, almost a quarter of the way through the match here in Oslo.
Yeah, I think John was trying to get just a bit more on that to the back post. Unfortunately, right in the middle of the goal, the goalkeeper, an easy catch for him. But better from Scotland. I mean, there's not much positivity so far in the game for us, but certainly that was better. And
it started with Callum McGregor getting a feel of the ball in the midfield.
Yeah.
As the sun continues to beat down on almost exclusively the Scotland support off to our right. The vast majority of the stadium in the shade. It's Nyland, the goalkeeper. He made his debut actually for Norway against Scotland, that friendly almost 10 years ago. It's a long one forward. Tierney's going to cut it out before it had the chance to come through to Sorloth, who's had the chance of the game so far. Here comes Robertson for Scotland down the left-hand side, changing pace, driving down to the level with the penalty spot. Christie takes the touch, but it just wriggles away from him. And back to Nyland. Brilliant play by Andrew Robertson down that left-hand side. Christie just couldn't get it dug out.
It was excellent, showing a real turn of pace. Does the defender, gets to the byline, cuts it back. It's Christie's first touch. I don't know whether he could have got a shot away. It was
now we're in the second quarter of it. It's out with Melling on this near side. We'll play it back to Ostergaard. The other game in the group today is between Cyprus and Georgia and Larnaca this evening. Spain not involved this month because they are embroiled in the Nations League finals. And beat Italy the other night. As Berg, he's managed to squeeze it down that right for Ryerson, who can find Sorloth up against Tierney. Tierney has to be strong here. He's done really well to get between the man and the ball, but it is at the expense of a corner to Norway. They're first in the match. 23.5 in, 0-0.
Tierney does well, he really does. He's under serious pressure there from Sorloth. He'd nicked it past him and was trying to get around him the other way. Tierney used his body strength, no option but to give the corner away.
Sorloth's a tricky customer. He's actually taller than Erling Haaland, 6'5", Haaland 6'4".
He's a big guy.
They're both, and along with a few others, are going to be a serious threat from set pieces like this, and Martin Odegaard is over it. Over on the Norwegian right as they attack the goal to the left. 24 on the clock, 0-0. And the Scotland defence is going to be under some serious pressure here. The referee has prevented the corner from being taken momentarily. I'm not sure if there's an issue with the match ball or what, but he's actually going to pull a couple of the players over to speak to Odegaard and Porteous. Not happy with that. With the pushing going on in the box, by the look of things.
I think it was Odegaard that was doing most of the pushing, to be honest with you.
Well, they're both getting a stern lecture from the 42-year-old referee, Matai Hug. Corner then to the Norwegians. This is going to be an in-swinger from Odegaard. We approach 25 minutes, and it comes, and it's a nice comfy take for Gunn, just about on the 6-yard line, and he will be delighted with that. It stays Norway 0, Scotland 0.
It's a great take from him. Really poor corner again. That's a couple of poor corners in the game so far, but a good catch from Gunn. Good clean hands.
Here's Tierney for the Scots, long with the left foot, looking for Dykes. Dykes goes down, but again it's another incident that's not going to go his way. He was looking for the free kick there. The Scotland fans were too, but the referee unmoved.
Yeah, the ref's let a few of those go.
Here is Berg, just outside the centre circle in his own half. The Bodø Glimt midfielder, and they've just been excellent over the last few years. One of the sides in the very north of Norway. It's a Celtic, no to their cost. They lost to them in the Conference League last season. As Robertson passes it back to Tierney, and then back to Gunn. Haaland now right beside him as he releases it long, looking for Dykes. Good header there, won though by Stefan Strandberg for Norway, as it's worked out to Birger Meling on this left-hand side.
Yeah, the
Meling
Norwegian
caught late by Christie.
Norwegian centre-halves are coping well with Dykes' physicality so far, given as good as they're getting for sure.
And Christie's been spoken to by the referee now because he's just left one on Meling. Now we shout out at the Norway left-back as well in the wake of that. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, he was late.
He's actually lucky he's not booked for that.
I would have said so, Liam. Yeah.
Norway in possession. Odegaard out to this near side for Meling, just inside his own half. And back to Odegaard as we approach 27 minutes, 0-0. And the Scots' last competitive away match was that goalless draw in Krakow against Ukraine that sealed pot 2, it sealed promotion in the Nations League. It was a backs to the wall performance a lot of the time. Sorloth wins the header, back to Odegaard, the edge of the Scotland box, just at the right angle, forced back to Berg. Ryerson's an option, a poor ball by Berg, straight to John McGinn. He's away from 2 challenges, and then leaves the back heel for Ryan Christie. Cleverly done.
Good play.
Once again by McGinn. What a superstar he's been for this side, in particular since Steve Clarke took the reins.
His performance levels have been phenomenal, but it's his goal return that's just incredible for a midfielder. He certainly loves playing for Scotland, and I think that's reciprocated by the fans.
To the feet of Tierney, just outside his box, in a shaded area of the pitch. You just wonder if putting Ireland under more pressure in this first half, because he's the goalkeeper with the sun in his eyes in this first half. Hickey can't keep it in play down here, down below us as we approach 28 minutes. They've not had a chance really, apart from those 2 corners to test Orient Nyland.
Nah, not really. Nothing from open play. I mean, at the other end, you would say Angus Gunn's been fairly quiet as well, apart from the header, which was straight at him. He didn't really have to make a save from it. As much as they've had the better kind of moments, they've not really.
That was a pass right through towards Haaland, which Hendry
should have been a better pass.
Did well to.
Yeah, Haaland's movement was good, spinning off the back at Hendry. He was one that played on the left-hand side of him. The pass not accurate enough.
It's Kieran Tierney, short ball forward to McGinn. He's been robbed though by a combination of 3, I think, and Sorloth's driving towards the edge of the box. Now Erling Haaland has it. He's almost managed to wriggle free, breaks off the defender. Back to Solbakken. who's now on it, left-hand side of the penalty area. Out wide for Melling. Melling with a delicate chip ball towards the back post area, and Sorloth gets his header all wrong, and it stays as it goes behind for the goal kick. Norway 0, Scotland 0 as we approach 29 minutes.
Yeah, it was the first kind of time in the game that Haaland's found a wee bit of space in the box, but his touch ran him into trouble. We defended the situation well. It goes wide again. They're favouring this deeper cross a lot in the game, or Norway. It goes to the back post. I think Sorloth probably, or should be, trying to header it back across the goal, and gets it all wrong.
He's been in good form actually for El Sociedad. He scored in the closing weeks of the La Liga season against both Barcelona, the champions, and Atletico Madrid. And 16 all told across the campaign for the Basque side. It remains goalless here in Oslo. Norway trying to get back in their stride. Odegaard goes down. No free kick, says the referee. Norwegian supporters not happy with that. Long ball up towards Christie's, easily won by Østegård. His header goes into the Scotland half. Porteous with a nice touch to McGregor towards McGinn, but just a bit too much on it for John McGinn to be able to work any magic.
It was a tough pass to control. It really was. Not the best ball into him. Again, another moment where we're forcing things. We don't really have to keep possession of the ball, especially in these conditions. And a couple of times we've gone long as well to Christie. There's no point in doing that. As you said a minute ago, the centre half's going to win that all day long.
Norway in possession with Strandberg just inside his own half, right of the centre circle. Beyond the half hour, no goals, no damage, but Norway with all of the ball really, and Alexander Sorloth with the chance of the game to get a header straight at Angus Gunn.
I mean, it's not been a good performance from Scotland, but at this juncture in the group, the performance isn't going to matter here tonight. What matters is we come away with 1 or 3 points, but certainly we've been poorer than I've seen us in a long time.
It's with Odegaard just inside his own half, switches it right to left of the circle. It's going to break Melling's way, though I don't think he was the intended target. The intended target was Østegård, who's on it now, and he's gone long with the right foot looking for Sorloth. Sorloth wins the header, nods it back to Aursnes. Little flick to Odegaard, goes for goal, blocked there by Porteous, who has got time to just nudge it back to Angus Gunn, who clears first time. And then Lyndon Dykes and the defender Østegård collide. Play on, says the referee, and it's McTominay out to Hickey. And back to McTominay to the right of the circle there for McGregor. To McTominay again. 4 goals he scored in that oh so profitable March double header against the Cypriots in Spanish. 31.5 played here. And just to give you an idea of the conditions here, someone's very kindly presented us with chocolate chip cookies here, and the chocolate chips have melted already.
All over your notepad as well.
Yeah. It is roasting.
Honestly, don't get me started.
They're as surprised about the weather. The locals are as surprised about the weather as anyone.
This is better from Scotland. We're just keeping the ball, short passes, forcing Norway to come after it, let them do a bit of the chasing.
Chip ball by Hendry up towards Christie.
Good touch.
Yeah, just knocks it back to McGregor, who in turn does likewise to Tierney. Tierney sweeping it out wide left for Robertson. He's got the head down now. Robertson will drive up the pitch for the Scots. Chip ball in, looking for Dykes, but it just comes across he and the defender. It's too far away from Ryan Christie as well, and it was behind the reverse side of the goal for a goal kick to the home team. And on 32.5 it stays Norway 0, Scotland 0. Robertson looks like he could be a serious weapon tonight. We know he is anyway, but he looks like the most likely option. Certainly
down that left hand side. We've not really had anything down the right from Hickey in an attacking sense. That was our best spell of possession in the game that led to that the cross there from Andy Robertson. Must have kept the ball 20-25 passes. Robertson breaks with it. I didn't think it was that bad a ball into the box. I think it was quite a dangerous ball in, but Lyndon Dykes just couldn't get goal side. I'm amazed they're not having a water break. Yeah. When would that be, generally? It's normally at the quarter mark, like halfway through the halves, they would come over and take on some water. So who decides that? Well, perhaps they've had an agreement, they don't need it, but no. I'm just amazed given the temperatures here. Yeah. Tierney goes back to Gunn. Just inside his own penalty area, shifts it to Porteous, right of the box. Back to Gunn, and he goes long. And Dykes looking for it again. Østegård's got the better of him so far, and he wins it. Again, Melling goes back to his own goalkeeper. Christie will chase it. It wasn't exactly a goalkeeper that Nyland wanted, and then he slices it out for a throw-in level with his own 6-yard line, to the delight of the Scotland fans right behind him. It was an astonishingly bad back pass. all right, the goalkeeper should do slightly better with it, but a horrendous pass back to him.
Jack Hendry is down there taking on some water. A little brief stoppage in play for the throw into the Scots, which Ryan Porteous is going to bowl into the Norwegian box by the looks of things. Former Hibs defender, now of Watford, earning just his 4th cap for his country. And he bowls it back to the right angle of the box for Christie. Takes a touch, gets the ball to the back post area. It's headed back down towards McGinn, who shoots, and it's blocked by Strandberg. John McGinn, well, how often have we seen him in that area for the national side? His effort with the left foot was on target, but it was blocked there by Stefan Strandberg, the centre half, and out for a Scotland throw-in on the far side. It stays 0-0.
Yeah, that was our best chance of the game so far. John McGinn finding on the angle. The chance hits it first time on the volley. Really good defending, you've got to say, to cut out and block it. It was going on target. Whether it was going in or not, we don't know, but it's certainly a very good block.
Scotland throw-in. Get Willie Miller's thoughts again, just a moment as the throw-in comes into the box. Breaks back to McTominay at the edge of the area. Now it's with Hickey. Little ball for McGregor. Nicks it out there to John McGinn. Low ball, Callum McGregor. Little back heel, doesn't quite pay off though. He's looking for Tierney. Norway have got it back, and Odegaard just knocking it out to the far side. It's going out for a throw-in. Willie Miller, we've got about 10 minutes left of this first half. How are you feeling now?
Yeah, a little bit more positive, I think, in terms of where Scotland are and the amount of possession that they've had in the Norway half. I think it's been a very scrappy game, though. There's been a lot of unforced errors from both sides, I must say. I don't think, Scotland have looked as though they're going to be cut open at any moment in time. In Norway in wide areas, I think they've been very wasteful with the crosses into the box, more kind of a loopy crosses to the back post, although Sorloth is definitely a threat whenever the crosses have come in. But I think a scrappy game for us in the studio. Too many unforced errors by both sides. I think the conditions are playing a big part in that as well. But as far as Scotland's concerned, I think it's got better towards the end of this first half.
Yeah, we're on 36 minutes. We'll get Willie and the rest of the guys' take on proceedings at half time as the Scots pick up a throw-in down on the near side, midway inside Norwegian territory. And again, Porteous is coming out to this near side to take it. While Willie was talking, there was yet another loose Norwegian pass which went straight out of the pitch for a throw-in on this near side. That kind of thing can filter through the entire team as Porteous waits to take. This is about level with the edge of the D of the Norway box. It's a short one this time to Christie. Now Tierney. Robertson's on his bike. It's a long looping ball by Tierney to the left-hand side of the box. Robertson controls, goes down, no free kick, told to get back to his feet.
This ref does not like giving free kicks, does he?
There's a chance for Norway then down on that right-hand side with Sorloth. Infield to Odegaard. And back to Ryerson. Odegaard was caught there by John McGinn. The ref's going to want to speak to McGinn, and it's a yellow. First booking of the game, which is roundly applauded by the natives here. John McGinn booked 0-0 in Oslo, 37 played.
A wee bit harsh that for me, Liam. I think it's not a bad tackle by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe just leaves one on him, similar to the Christie one a few moments ago. Anyway, in the book it goes.
It's the first yellow of the match. Of course, they're very sensibly changed the rule from 2 bookings and you're suspended to 3. And that was a rule they simply had to change. And John McGinn wasn't one of those who was booked in the first couple of matches. Long ball for the Norwegians. Sorloth's going to control on the right. It's not great control though. Robertson does enough to get in his face and win it back. Brilliantly, Andy Robertson. How good was that? Great play. He's threaded it through to McTominay, and suddenly it's 3-on-3. McTominay driving up towards the edge of the area, and then he just runs out of ideas and loses out, and he's slapping the pitch in frustration. And Norway have it back here with Iceness. 0-0 here in Oslo, 38 played.
He's got to release it out to Dykes. I mean, it's virtually a 3v3. Dykes is on the left, he's peeled after absolute sensational play from Andy Robertson, turning defence into attack quickly. McTominay picks it up, drives 30 yards with it, but he's got to then release the ball.
Odegaard in the centre circle, faced by Dykes. Options all over the place here. The Norway number 10 and captain. Left-footed ball to Ryerson on the right, out to Sorloth, bang on the touchline. level the edge of the D of the Scotland box, rolls it back to Patrick Berg, and then back out wide right it goes to Aursnes, to Berg, and a little back heel from Ryerson's, another misunderstanding. It's straight to Robertson, then McGinn. Surely he's tripped this time, John McGinn. Well, he's got back to his feet immediately, and he's away from three, and then he goes down again, and now finally gets the free kick, and he's now got his arms outstretched, asking why the Norwegian player's not getting a yellow card. But he obviously feels the first one was a foul in the first place, but he proceeded to get back to his feet and beat the three of them aneway.
Yeah, he's good at that, isn't he, when he goes down, just picking himself back up. But yeah, there was 4 players around him. Eventually they did bring him to the ground, and he's trying to say to the referee that there wasn't too much difference in that foul to the foul he was booked for just minutes ago. Steve
Clark down there shielding his eyes from the evening sunshine here in Norway. Angus Gunn with a long ball, heading towards the final 5 minutes of the first half. 0-0. Odegaard is going to get the break. It's a long one. Look at Haaland, who's gone down under the challenger Hendry, and Jack Hendry's going to be carded here for that, and Haaland, who was in the centre circle, Hendry, yellow card.
Well, they definitely came together, the two players. The ball over the top. Was he last man? I think that's possibly what the Norway fans are protesting about here. We'll see it now. We've got a wee replay of it. The ball over the top. Do you know?
I think he's possibly lucky. Now VAR obviously can view that and look at it as a straight red, but there's no sign of that at the moment.
Not.
That is,
thankfully,
that's a really dodgy moment there for Jack Hendry.
I don't think, for me, I think he's last man. The referee's been quite lenient there. It was a long way from goal.
That's probably that must be what saved him. He was in the centre circle when he was grappling with Haaland. Another nervy moment. There's going to be a few of those this evening. Don't you worry about that. That's what you get with the Scotland national teams. That little chip ball forward goes out of play again for Norway for a Scottish goal kick, and that is, again, it's been so much of that from the Norwegians. They've been so sloppy. They've had so much of the ball. It's almost at times that they've had too much time on it.
Yeah, and they're certainly trying to force these passes in behind, and that one there was really, really poor.
And Jack Hendry, that's not ideal, because he's the man closest to Haaland tonight, and now he's on a yellow.
Actually, when you look at it and think about it, it was a good foul to make. I don't think he was winning that race if they were both going for it.
No. It's back with Gunn. Haaland at close attendance again. No surprise at Haaland's prowess. His dad was a World Cup playing footballer. His mother was a successful heptathlete. He's from good stock. And his goal-scoring record is absolutely frightening. 187 goals and 235 professional club appearances. And you look at his national record as well. 21 and 23 caps coming into this one. A couple of hat-tricks in there. He's now just, I think, 6 or 7 goals away from becoming Norway's all-time top goal scorer. He's just a few away from Tore Andre Flo, as Hendry heads it back the way, and Gunn is going to get there with Haaland chasing him down.
I mean, he's already smashed so many records in his short time he's been a footballer. He'll go on to smash so many more. He's just a phenomenon. It really is. Right,
well, he needs 13 to become their record scorer. He's 2 behind Flo and Solskjaer, 3 behind Carew, and he's just 6 off becoming their all-time top scorer post-war.
Right, I think you can pretty much guarantee that will happen.
Long ball from the Scots, sails out for a Norwegian thrown on the far side. It's actually, when you slice it up, it's not been a brilliant football match. It's not been a great watch.
It has not, Liam. But again, as I said earlier, I'll take a poor performance if we leave here with the scoreline as it is just now.
So Stigart playing it short to his left. And it is Aursnes to the right of the centre circle for Strandberg. Important time this, couple of minutes from half-time. 0-0. Berg has it, right of the centre circle, in the Scotland half. Chip ball looking for Haaland. He's off target with it, and it comes all the way through to Gunn. That is one thing they don't have for Haaland, is they don't have De Bruyne, they don't have Silva, they don't have Gundogan, they don't have Grealish. It's not, I mean, these Odegaard's as good as those guys.
Well, he is.
But the other ones perhaps are not at that same level to supply Haaland with these world-class passes.
Yeah, and you see Haaland's movement. He's trying to just peel off the shoulder of the defender and find a yard, and then the ball's got to be pretty much perfect when it's flighted through to him. And on too many occasions from a Norway perspective, it's not been.
Robertson has it for the Scots, turns it out to Tierney wide on the left, forward to McGinn, to McGregor. In a tough spot there, McGregor, he goes down, he's had the ball taken off and no foul, and Odegaard plays it to Sorloth wide on the right. Approaching the final minute of the first half, Sorloth challenged really well by Robertson, who's putting in a really fine performance tonight, both defensively and offensively. It's been the Scots' best outball, certainly. It's been the best ball carrier in the team tonight in a match away from home against a team ranked around about the same as you. You need to get up the pitch in these away matches. You need to try and be a threat yourselves. You can't just let the home team come on top of it. We're in minute 45 here, Norway 0, Scotland 0. Almost, Stephen, at half-time.
Yeah, if we get to half-time at 0-0, Steve Clarke can go in, assess what he thinks that the team needs to improve upon. And really, you know, as much as territorially Norway have had a lot of the ball, they've been wasteful with it and they haven't really tested our goalkeeper. So there are positives to take, but we can play an awful lot better than this.
Long ball, Dykes wins the header, looking for Christie. Oostegard's there. He nods it over to that right-hand side where it's picked up by Julian Ryerson. Back to his goalkeeper, fired forward by Nyland, straight onto the chest though of Porteous. He gets it forward towards Dykes. 1 minute of stoppage time's been added on. And it's with Lyndon Dykes over on the far side. Good footwork to get away from Aursnes. Looking to roll it to the left of the box for Christie's. Onto it as well, Ryan Christie, shielding it there from Strandberg. Out wide left for Robertson. Left-footed cross comes in. Dykes tries to get there. It's headed away though. It's really well defended in the end by Norway. It breaks back to Tierney. He'll let it go out for a throw-in over on the far side to the Scots, who are at least finishing the first half on the front foot.
Yeah, no surprise it was Andy Robertson again with the delivery. Wasn't a bad ball in, but Dykes was always going to be second favourite to the defender who cleared it.
Thrown to be taken by Tierney over on that far side, level with the edge of the centre circle in the Norway half. To Dykes, tries to press it back to Christie. Won by Berg, his clearance goes straight to Tierney. Tierney will turn it back into the centre circle for Porteous. Porteous looks up, rolls it to McTominay. Lifts it out to the near side for Hickey, but there's no time for the Scotland attack to come to a conclusion. The Scotland players not happy with that. The referee blowing for half-time. Just as the Scots were working it out to the right-hand side of the Norway box. And that is half-time. The time was up, in fairness. The ref didn't want to see that attack finish. And that means it's scoreless at the break, and Scotland a little bit fortunate that that is the case. The best opportunity of the first half falling on 13 minutes, and it was Alexander Sorloth with a header. He and Haaland both jumped for it. Sorloth got the final touch. He put it straight at Angus Gunn, who's now gone 2.5 games into his Scotland career without conceding a goal. But Norway had a heck of a lot of possession there. Their decision making, their passing has been really poor at times. Cross balls, they found themselves in good areas on the left and the right. Ryerson and Melling, the fullbacks, have been bombing up and down the pitch, but they've been unable to really get Erling Haaland involved in the game, and Stevie Clarke will be absolutely delighted with that, that's for sure. The Scots' best opportunity, a John McGinn effort which was blocked by Strandberg later on in the first half. The Scots were much better in the second half of the first half, and they'll need to be potentially even better than that if they are to get it out of this stadium tonight with a point or maybe even 3, because they haven't really been much of a threat themselves in the attacking third. Half-time in the Ullevall in Oslo on Matchday 3 in Group A is Norway 0, Scotland 0.
Scotland in the Euro 2024 qualifiers.
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Goalless it is at half-time between Norway and Scotland. 63% possession for Norway from the official UEFA website. 20 attacks for them, 13 for Scotland. Passing accuracy, 90% for the Norwegians, 83 for Scotland. In terms of attempts on goal, 4 for Norway, 1 for the visitors. And of course a couple of yellow cards, 2 in the space of 2 minutes. McGinn and Henry both being booked by the referee. It has certainly, Leanne, not been a classic.
No, it hasn't. But Scotland are in the game at half-time in these types of fixtures, certainly away from home. It's where you would want to be. You don't want to concede. We've spoke about the defensive record from Scotland, it's been very good, and they've limited Norway, albeit the performance levels from both sides have been below par. Scotland have limited Norway to very little. The Sorloth header early on in the half was probably Norway's best chance, but certainly not a classic. I know the guys have spoke about it in commentary. Willie, when he came in as well, spoke about the conditions probably adding to that as well, and it does just look like a game that the players are not quite hitting the levels and the heights in terms of the types of runs and intensity and demands of international football, and probably what's on the line, you would need to say. It's a much bigger game for Norway than perhaps it is Scotland, but I think the fact that Scotland, as I say, that they're in the game, there's no goals conceded, there's certainly a lot to be improved on, and that as a manager and a coaching group at half time is always a good thing when you can go in at half time and look to have a chat that can improve things and certainly change things. There's a number of Scotland players that they're way below the levels that we've grown accustomed to, whether it's been their first touch, their influence in the game, their contributions going forward. It's been very, very limited. So I think second half performance, if Scotland are really keen to get 3 points from this game, it's going to need to be a much improved performance, certainly middle to front.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's meant one clear-cut chance, really. Scotland did have the opportunity there where McGinshaw was blocked, but the one glaring opportunity was that Sorloth header, which he put straight at Angus Gunn in the 13th minute. What about the approach from Scotland, Craig, and the tactics being employed? Are they working from your point of view?
Well, it depends what they're trying to do. It's all a bit meh for me, you know. It's been a pretty poor performance from both teams.
Yeah.
You know, and Scotland certainly haven't hit the heights that they have done in recent matches. And it's been a poor match. So it's very difficult at this minute in time to come up with many positives other than the fact that still 0-0. We're in a great position. We're 45 minutes have elapsed and we've got another 45 to go, and I think we all agree that a point from this match would be significant in the attempt to qualify. So yeah, it's not been great, but we're on track.
Yeah, and that was the key thing going into it, Tom English, wasn't it?
Yeah, listen, if it's a very dull match, and if it remains dull and it finishes 0-0, that's going to put a smile on every member of the Tartan Army. That's all I need is a point, is a good result. The big danger man, we spoke about him endlessly. Very few touches, very little danger. The yellow card with Hendry aside hasn't really been in the match at all.
No.
So job done for 45 minutes. Obviously, you switch off for 2 seconds and he'll score. But Scotland look, while ceding a lot of possession, they look comfortable in the game.
I'm just glancing up the screens here. I mean, it shows you how that one opportunity, the Sorloth header, stands out from the rest of the 45 minutes, because I'm sure they've run in about 17 replays of it now from every different angle, and then back again, and let's show you one more time, and again. Fortunately, we've got you lot to speak, so we've got no issues about filling 15 minutes. The yellow card you touched on there, so it's a long ball over the top. Haaland looks to turn Henry, who's kind of got on the wrong side. When he pulls him down, there's no question it's a foul. I think it starts inside the Norwegian half, and Haaland goes to ground a yard or two inside the Scotland half. The ball has been played long. I guess what is up for debate is, was he going to get to it? Was it denying a clear goal scoring opportunity? Angus Gunn is pretty quickly off his line as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I thought it was the correct decision. I know it probably took just a little bit of time during the game, and I know Tomo was looking at it and Liam discussing whether he was a bit lucky or not, but I think when you look at it where the ball's dropping, in Haaland's positioning where he's still inside his own half effectively, I think VAR would have looked at it. They would have certainly checked it if it was a possible red card, whether they don't need to make you aware of these checks. We know that it would have been a silent check, but it's certainly something that would have been looked at. It was a risk from Henry, and he probably was lucky, because his positioning was all wrong for me. He was wrong side. He's left himself isolated in the opposition half effectively. So he knows the threat that he's up against. He knows how good Haaland is, and Haaland is smart because he actually just looks to go and engage. He looks for that physicality to go and roll the player, and it becomes a battle. So he is lucky in the sense that he was so far from goal, but he now is on that tightrope where he's got a yellow card and he's got another 45 minutes to go and match Haaland again.
We should say Henry, of course, playing in the middle of the back three with Porteous on the right. There's no doubt that Haaland was going to get away from Henry, but it was all about whether he was going to then get the ball and whether it has to be deemed a clear goal scoring opportunity. I don't think it could possibly be.
I think VAR's got to decide, is it a clear and obvious mistake by the referee just to give a yellow card? And when a foul happens inside the opposition half by a defender, is that a clear chance for Haaland? Now you could say that with his ability, his pace, then he could have probably fashioned it to be an opportunity, but I think the yellow card was enough. I think I think Jack Henry made it look kind of an awkward challenge, coming together rather than a deliberate grappling to the ground. But it was dreadful positioning from him, and he really had to give it away. To be that far forward, and they haven't exposed themselves like that in the first half at all, but to be that far forward, in the opposition half, and to be side on to Haaland, then you're leaving yourself open to be exposed. So I think he got away with it in terms of the opportunity that might have given the Norwegian striker, but I still think that the yellow card was enough in terms of the referee's decision. I didn't think it deserved a red card.
0-0 at half time. Also in the group, it's a 7:45 kickoff. Cyprus against Georgia this evening. Of the matches that have been played or are being played already today in Group G, Lithuania 1, Bulgaria 1. Group J, Luxembourg 2, Liechtenstein 0. In Group G at half time, Montenegro 0, Hungary 0. And in Group F at half time, Azerbaijan 0, Estonia 1. So, Craig, half-time, Steve Clarke's got the players back in there. What, if anything, does he look to change as they come out for the second half?
What does he look to change? Well, I think that the game's at 0-0 because of both teams' ineptitude almost. So, I mean, I think I'd be stressing that we can play a hell of a lot better than what we've done in the first half. I think Leanne hitting a point, maybe just unsure at times where to press and when to press, and collectively, to do it properly, it has to be a collective. Everybody has to be aware of when they're supposed to press, whether they're pressing high in the middle or whether they're pressing low. So I think there's been a little bit of the players look a little bit unsure at times. I don't know if that's the right word, but I mean, there just doesn't seem to be the same sort of compact feeling that you normally get from the units, the three different units in the Scotland team. So just be reinforcing the fact that we know we should be going after the ball at certain times, or we need to back off, but we need to do these things together, and we haven't done that as well as we normally do. We've favoured for most of the first half the left hand side of the field. I think Aaron Hickey might have had 2 or 3 touches in the match, but we should maybe think about coming down and trying something a little bit different down the other side. So there'll be a lot of things that he'll have noticed in the first half that we can do better, and I'm sure he'll impart that knowledge to the players, and we'll see what happens in the second half. But we're in, take away the performance, and we're in the score tells us it's a decent place to be in at this minute in time.
He's not going to be too unhappy, is he? I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
Restrict them to one chance, one header, really. I think he's gone not. He hasn't had a save to make, has he? A clear shot at him, just a header,
isn't it? Yeah,
straight at him.
That's why I says I think it's a good opportunity at half time when you go in as a coaching group and there's actually things there that you can improve on, and quite clearly without taking too much risk. And for me, looking at the game, actually, and I spoke at this off air to Craig, and I'm saying, for me, the front three in Norway just never pinning the Scotland back five. So I think at some point, if you're looking to go and get 3 points out of the game, or you want to go and carry a threat going forward, you're going to need to try and be a bit braver and try and release one of those defenders, whether it's Robertson or Hickey. Robertson has looked a more likely threat in certain moments, but because he's so deep in the moments that he wins the ball, he's not a natural then outlet and support higher up the pitch, and I think Lyndon Dykes is really isolated, and Christie and McGinn are far too narrow to really cause a threat. One occasion when we did break, I think it was McTominay that went beyond, and he just ran out of ideas because he was so central and there was no natural width to allow that out ball. So those are the types of things I think if you're Steve Clarke, you're looking at how you can be a bit braver, how you can be a bit more aggressive. And I actually think at times, probably in the first 25 minutes of the game, that the game plan didn't look like it matched the way that the game was playing out. I don't think Norway were as aggressive and looking to try and play forward as quickly as Scotland had perhaps thought they might. So it's just marrying the game plan up now with how the game is actually looking for Steve Clarke. But there's loads of positives. Of course, a tough game to go away to Norway. We've spoken about the conditions, the consistency in Norway as a side, not really knowing what to expect from them. The asset in Haaland up top, again, he's a real threat. You can't switch off for a second. Scotland have got good players, and I just don't think that collectively and individually they've hit those heights. So Steve Clarke needs to go and demand that from them at half time and make sure that they get closer to that level in the second half.
Do you think there will come a point, Craig, where the manager decides, right, I need to go and try to win this game now, or actually is he just going to play pretty much as he's been, and then if he gets a draw, then that's...
There's what the manager wants and what the players do.
Yes.
They don't always marry.
Yeah.
You know, well, you know, we've talked about this, and you don't think for a second the players haven't talked. Is a point good enough for us in this game? You know, and you know what players are like. Sometimes they have it in the mind that this is okay. You know, and they don't play adventurously. They stay where they are. They don't support anybody in front of them. They don't make runs forward when normally they would do. And I think it's quite a difficult. You know, I think everybody thinks like a point here's pretty decent. The players know that as well, you know, and as long as it's at 0-0, they'll be quite happy. And then, so for there to be a real change in the mindset, the manager's going to have to make changes, or he's going to have to tell the wing backs, you've got to play higher, and you've got to get forward, you've got to support, or he maybe change the shape, or you know, he has to do something to alter it, because I think they're in a kind of, you know, they're in a kind of pattern of I don't know, just doing enough.
Yeah. See, with 10 minutes to go and it's 0-0, and you know 0-0 is a good result for you, do you then be adventurous and try to go for the full 3 points? I think that.
No, I don't think you will.
I don't think.
No,
you know,
I just said if
it might happen. It might happen.
If there's going to be a change, it'll have to come from the manager to say, look, you need to go and play higher, you'll need to do something different or make changes.
But the lack of creativity, Craig, going forward, I think is actually a hindrance to Scotland, and it's forcing them to defend more than they should. If they actually go and offer Hickey or Robertson higher up the pitch, it gives Scotland an outlet. More often than not, they win it back, they try to play forward, they break the lines, they lose it, Norway regain possession and they come at them again. It's that type of turnover. We spoke about those transitional moments.
The problem with that is that the players don't perceive a threat from Norway. Now, if they were doing that and Norway were cutting them open, then obviously something has to change.
Right, the teams are back out, so we'll reflect further at half time, hopefully with some success. 45 minutes to go. It is 0-0 right now as we return to Stephen Thompson and Liam McLeod.
Scotland will kick off the second half here in the searing heat in Oslo, right to left, wearing the white away kit. Navy flashes, Norway with the red shirts, navy shorts and socks, and the Slovenian referee gets the second half underway. And what a huge 45 minutes in the context of this group this is. No changes for either team, incidentally, at the start of the second half, as Robertson finds McGregor, who was brought down by Odegaard. So it's gun and goal for the Scots, who have a free kick here just left of the centre circle in the Norway half. Henry, Porteous and Tierney with Hickey and Robertson wide, McGregor and McTominay in the middle, McGinn and Christie trying to support Dykes. Now landing goal for Norway, Ryerson, Strandberg, Ostegaard, Melling at the back, Odegaard, Berg and Auschness across the middle with Sorloth and Solbakken either side of Erling Braut Haaland, as that goes out of play for a goal kick. Harmless ball by the Scots down this left-hand side, and behind for a Norway goal kick. Of course, two Scottish players on yellow cards as well, and John McGinn and Jack Hendry after that first half. And I was having a look at the Euro 2020 qualifiers. The minimum points tally that was required to finish second in the 5-team qualifying groups was 14, which Wales finished on. So they finished behind Croatia and a single point ahead of Slovakia. The Scots already on 6. the Norwegians on 1 as they come forward now with Odegaard in the middle. Midway inside the Scotland half, slipping it to the left for Melling. Out it comes to Solbakken. And a little ball by Patrick Berg back into the centre circle where Strandberg collects and rolls it to Leo Ostergaard of Napoli. Short ball forward there to Solbakken. The far corner of the net. A comfortable save in the end for Angus Gunn, but it is an early second half shot on target for the Norwegians. It stays 0-0 on 47.
Haaland's body strength was immense there. His touch, laying it off to Solbakken. It's a team shot in the end, isn't it? From probably 20 yards, and easy for Angus Gunn to just gather up.
Remains 0-0 then as Ryerson was back the way to Strandberg, lifts it long forward into the Scotland half. Tierney's header breaks McGregor's way. Now McTominay's managed to find Ryan Christie, the Bournemouth player, right to Brentford's Hickey on that right hand side. Rolls it back to McTominay, just right of the centre circle for McGregor. Then along the halfway line to Porteous. Over there on the far side, Porteous finds McGinn in the middle. Lovely turn by John McGinn, driving to the edge of the box. He shoots for goal, and it's a comfortable, should have been a comfortable save for Nyland because it's right at him, but it almost snuck away from him. Just took a little bounce, I think, just before it got to the goalkeeper.
Awkward bounce right in front of him. It was a great pass from Porteous to find McGinn. He used his body well to roll. It opened up for him. He drove forward probably 5-10 yards. You knew he was going to hit it. Catches it not too badly with his left foot, but straight down the goalkeeper's throat. Any kind of angle on it, it would have really tested him.
48 played, Norway in possession. Strandberg taking it up towards halfway. Low ball forward there to Aursnes. He's managed to find Odegaard, who almost squeezed it through to Haaland. Blocked there by Tierney. That was important as McTominay picks up and rolls it to the right for Hickey. Hickey then will turn it back to Porteous. Forward to McTominay, finds McGregor, who goes back to Hendry. Hendry then slipping it to his right for Ryan Porteous. He's gone long looking for Lyndon Dykes. And Dykes gets the break of the ball there as it bounced back off Ostergaard. Here's Christie's driving forward, he's inside the box. Ryan Christie's on his own for the moment. McGinn arriving in support as he puts it behind for the goal kick though.
No, corner, I think.
Oh, he's given corner,
yeah. I think the Norwegian defender just got a touch on it at the very end, but Lyndon Dykes, I think, got trod on as that ball broke through to Christie. He's back on his feet now. He's going to be okay. But yeah, the second half's already been much better than the first half. You know, we've had 2 shots in goal. Certainly from a Scotland point of view, forcing the issue there. Now another corner for us,
which will be taken over on the Scottish right as they attack the goal to our left. The Scotland support up the other end of the Roulaval. And Melling's gone over there to, I think he feels that McGinn took a short corner to McGregor there, but he was just in fact giving the ball to Callum McGregor, who is going to take this in swinging corner with the left foot coming up here. No, he plays it short instead. Christie, low ball into the box from McGinn, then a misunderstanding with Ryan Christie, and it's passed straight to Melling, who launches it clear. And that's up towards Solbakken, and he can't really control it though. And he gets the challenge in on McTominay. He's trying to wrestle it back from Erling Haaland. It goes down. Huge roar from the Norway supporters, and the referee didn't look as though he was going to give a free kick until the roar. And Norway have a free kick left of centre, midway inside Scottish territory.
Yeah, it was just a long ball from Norway up the pitch. Sodler tried to gather it. It fell to Haaland, who just again uses his body strength. He's so incredibly strong. And then does McTominay, it's actually Porteous, I think, that trips him in the end. Got a chance to put the ball in the box.
Yep, Haaland, one of the players forming a line along the edge of the D. It's going to be taken here by Odegaard, and it comes as a free header, and it's just wide. But was he offside? The header from Ostergaard's gone past that right-hand post. He couldn't get it on target, and Angus Gunn didn't dive, certainly. It stays Norway 0, Scotland 0 as we approach 51 minutes.
Well, it wouldn't have mattered anyway because the flag had gone up, but that's another sitter in terms of the header. The one in the first half straight to the goalkeeper, this one. Yeah, they're all off. Scotland's line's actually very, very good. They held their line so well. Quite a high line as well, but he's right on the penalty spot when he headers it. Got to hit the target. Flashes it wide.
Ball over the top of the defender, but he's going to react well here, Strandberg. Under pressure from McGinn, chips it out to this near side and out for a Scotland throw-in. Level with the edge of the D of the Norway box. On this near side. And it's Robertson who's over it. looking for an option in white. McGinn trying to offer him that. Robertson taking his time. And he's still got McGinn as an option. He's ended up trying to find Dykes, who does win the header, but he can only head it behind for a goal kick to the Norwegians. They haven't been able to engage Lyndon Dykes at all tonight in the right areas, in the areas he wants to be getting involved in, and it stays 0-0 as we approach 52.
But the problem has been, and I think Leanne mentioned it at half-time, that the support up to him, nobody's able to get close enough to him. So when the ball does go up and he's fighting and scrapping, he's not really won as large a percentage as he normally does in terms of in the air. But still, when it's dropping, we're not managing to pick up the second balls.
There's another foul down on this near side. It's Kieran Tierney who's been adjudged to have committed it. Free kick to Norway down here, and he's going to be yellow carded. It's a third booking for a Scottish player. The ref didn't like the challenge down on this near side, which was on Ryerson. He's back to his feet, but that's another, certainly he won the ball with the first challenge. Then on the second one he had to turn round as Ryerson tried to bomb away from him. He's got too much Ryerson's ankle for the referee's liking. Free kick Norway, and Odegaard is over at level with the edge of the centre circle in the Scotland half, and he passes it back to Strandberg, who rolls it to the left of the circle for Oostegard. Just about on 53 minutes, goalless in the Ullevål, and it's Norway in possession with Birger Meling over on the far side. Now Oostegard forward towards Berg, first time out onto the left hand side, onto the chest of Meling. Hickey's challenge puts it out for a Norway throw-in, which they've taken quickly. Back to Oostegard, switches it to his central defensive colleague Stefan Strandberg. Out to Ryerson on this near side, faced by Robertson. He's back to Strandberg, chipped ball out to this near side for Sorloth. He finds Ryerson, he finds Odegaard just inside his own half, under pressure from McGregor. And it's the Norway skipper just pushing it back to Leo Oostegard, and then Aursnes out to Ryerson on this near side. He's managed to pop it forward here to Sorloth. Norway coming forward with menace here. Sorloth back to Ryerson, level with the edge of the D of the Scotland box. Back to Aursnes, slow ball short infield to Odegaard. Out to Ryerson again. Ryerson's going to get it back immediately here from Sorloth. Looks up, bends the ball in. Way too close to Angus Gunn. He's on his 6-yard line. Haaland was actually much closer to the edge of the D and the 18-yard line than he was the goal. And it stays Norway 0, Scotland 0.
Poor cross yet again from Norway. They've worked the ball well into wide areas at times throughout the game, but the quality of delivery has not been there for them at all. Yeah, I was surprised Haaland didn't really move at all. When the ball went wide, it just kind of was very stationary as that ball came in, but Angus Gunn more than happy to see it and catch it cleanly again. His handling's been good so far in the game.
It's played out to that left-hand side for Norway, and then in field it comes to Berg. He's got a bit of pitch to operate in here as he drives forward. He gets himself away from Porteous, who's now out of position. Out to the left for Solbakken, almost at the level point of the Scotland D again, out wide in the Norwegian left. It's played back to Meling, passes it square into the centre circle for Strandberg. Steve Clark down there at the edge of his technical area, encouraging his players. But here's Ryerson for Norway. They're enjoying another spell of dominance in the match here. Odegaard's found Haaland at the edge of the box, frees himself of Henry, looking for space to shoot. Still he has it. Haaland, has he gone down in the box? Not quite. Stays on his feet, feels he was fouled. Norway feel it's a penalty as it was lashed over the crossbar. In the end up, it was another dodgy one. It was Jack Hendry. Certainly the foot in there, and if Haaland goes down to the ground, you're expecting the penalty to be awarded.
I think we're lucky there. I think we are lucky. I think Jack Henry stumbled into the back of Haaland as he's kind of driven away from him into the box. He's all over him, and then does he bring him down? Does he drag him to the ground?
Haaland bounced straight back up. Now, if this is a penalty, then the VAR will quite clearly be having a look at that. Might be not quite as much as we thought. We are able to see replays here, and we're seeing a replay of it right now. So
I've seen them given, Liam. That's all I'll say. We might get away with one there. And a Henry, of course, on a yellow card.
Yes. Do you have to look at that now? Do you have to look at Liam Cooper potentially come on and just a little bit of a fail-safe, because Henry is walking that tightrope?
Yeah, I think it was certainly begun through Steve Clarke's mind. I mean, when you're marking Haaland, you've got to get tight to him. You've no other option, but he certainly is walking a tightrope.
You could see he was just looking for just that little chink of space to get a shot away. Normally when he gets the shot away, he scores.
I thought he could have hit it earlier. I thought he had the chance to hit it, and then he took an extra couple of touches, and he was just trying to fashion an opening on his left foot when Hendry came into the back of him.
0-0 here in Oslo. It remains almost in 57. Another wasteful ball forward by the Scots this time. Kieran Tierney's the guilty party. He's hit it long with the left foot, comes all the way through to Nyland, and Norway have it back. A testing night so far, early evening as it is. As McTominay wins it back in the midfield. Tierney clips it forward into the centre circle for Christie. Good cushion header by Christie. It's away from Odegaard. Now Christie turns towards the Norwegian goal, driving down the left-hand side. Robertson for company, uses him. Robertson has it, taking on Ryerson. He's away from him, wonderful skill. Into the box goes Robertson. Oh, and the low cross ball's cut out brilliantly by Strandberg. And number 3 in Scotland colours, waiting to tap in a pull back by Robertson, who's annoyed he's not managed to find a teammate. It stays Norway 0, Scotland 0 as we approach 58 minutes.
Robertson's been our most creative player this evening by a mile. Brilliant play from him, getting to the byline, driving into the box. He's run about the 6-yard box when he tries to just flash it across the face for Lyndon Dykes, who was going to tap it into the goal. But again, for the second time in the game, much like the John McGinn one, it's the same player with a very, very important block.
Yeah, Strandberg blocked from McGinn in that first half.
Yeah.
And seems to be some kind of unofficial water break going on here. I understand why the players are trying to utilise any kind of spare seconds there are to take on some liquid.
Absolutely. I think Odegaard was just down for a minute or so the players rightly getting a quick drink. He's back up now.
It was probably a foul by him in the first place from Odegaard there in the build-up. He took on Christie. Dykes wins a header, heads it back towards the 18-yard line. Christie has it. Good footwork from Ryan Christie. Outside of the boot he finds Hickey. Hickey then turns it back into the centre circle for Porteous. Scotland seeing some decent possession here. McTominay out to Hickey. And we're about to tick into the 60th minute of the match. Goalless so far. Here is Callum McGregor, back to Hendry, and he turns it back to his own goalkeeper.
It really is incredible how little we've gone down the right-hand side of the pitch, certainly when we're moving forward with the ball. I cannot think of an occasion when Hickey's been away.
There's a lovely little flick there by Odegaard out to the right-hand side for Sorloth. Up against Robertson, taking him on, chipping the ball across, a really good delivery. Down goes Haaland, and it's a penalty to the Norwegians. Erling Haaland down, yellow card Porteous, and Norway have a penalty on the hour mark here in Oslo. And guess who's going to take it?
Odegaard.
He takes them all.
And we're just getting a wee rerun of this. It certainly looked like Porteous just bundled into the back of him. The ball ends good for the... Is there enough in that? Here we'll get a rerun of it now. It's a great ball in. I don't think there's enough in. I don't think there's much in that, to be honest with you.
I wonder if it's time to bring Willie in. Willie Miller's watching this back in the studio. Odegaard's going to leave the penalty for Haaland. Willie?
We are, and it's really difficult to see on the replay, to be honest. I think you know, there's a movement from Haaland in front of Porteous, and Porteous has got a hold of him. Difficult to see if there was any contact with the legs though, but you know, he goes down and he asks the question of the referee, and the referee's decided it's a penalty. But not great defending in Porteous' side of it, because he's let Haaland get in front of him.
Haaland's going to take it. Odegaard was going to. Haaland stands here. This is a big moment, not just in this game but in this group. And Erling Haaland, who has 21 goals in his 23 caps, left-footed penalty, and he scores! Bottom left corner from the main man. The big Viking Erling Braut Haaland scores yet again. The season of his dreams. Manchester City's treble winner, who lifted the European Cup having won the Champions League title a week ago tonight, puts that past Angus Gunn, expert overtly, and it is Norway 1, Scotland 0.
Well, you can't argue with the penalty. It's a fabulous penalty. Lots of pace on it. Angus Gunn guesses the right way, but the pace on the ball takes it into the bottom corner. What you can argue up with, it should have been given in the first place. In my opinion, it's an incredibly soft penalty kick. I do think that Porteous could have defended the situation better, like Willie says. However, is there enough movement or enough connection between the two of them for Haaland, who's 6'4" and probably weighs 18 stone, to go down like he did? I don't think there was. I really don't think there was. I think it's harsh, but it's exactly what Norway needed.
Well, you can't say they don't deserve their lead. They've been the better side, and Erling Haaland scores his 22nd international goal, and the Norwegians are going to make a change by the looks of things, and they're going to bring off Ola Solbakken in the Roma winger, and on will come Sander Berge of Sheffield United. So it's a very different game for Scotland now. There will be no goalless draw to go home with tonight. They're going to have to score if they're going to get anything out of this.
Yeah, and you'd expect to see changes happening within the next 5-10 minutes from Steve Clarke. You know, we hadn't played well up until this point in the game. We've got so much better, so much more to give. As an attacking force, we really haven't created anything throughout the whole game, so that has to change in these last 20 minutes. You may as well lose 2-0 as losing 1-0. He's got to go for it.
Erling Haaland was involved in 61 goals for Manchester City this season, whether he scored them himself or set them up.
How many's that for the season? 59?
Yeah.
Not bad, not bad. You'll take it.
This one from the penalty spot, a helping hand from the Slovenian officials, it has to be said. But it's a big goal for Norway. Liam Cooper stripped and ready to come on for the Scots. They've now got Porteous in a yellow as well, as Tierney takes a throw in. But what we've learned from the Scottish teams, we've learned to trust them over the last few years, and they do normally find a way. As Kieran Tierney seems to be down with a problem, is he going to have to come off here?
He's taking his shinnies
Tierney's off.
Yep.
Tierney's going to be subbed and will be replaced by Liam Cooper of Leeds United. Now that could be, if he, well, he's putting them back on.
What's happening?
Well, I think that is going to be the change, but for some reason the officials aren't ready. There's some kind of miscommunication down there. Cooper stands and waits. Tierney will be coming off in a moment. The Scots have another massive match coming up on Tuesday against Georgia. The win over the Spanish has bought them a little bit of breathing space in this group. Even if they were to lose this match, they're still in a decent position.
Yeah, they are, but I mean, it changes the landscape a wee bit, doesn't it?
No, totally.
Because, you know, if we win this game, you can forget Norway. They're out of the picture. Yep, Tierney off now.
On comes Cooper. I mean, it's the difference between being 2 points clear of Norway and 8 points clear of Norway.
And Richard, as he was pointing out, the games, we finished this campaign with 3 very difficult games. It would have been nice to have a wee security.
Here's Robertson for the Scots on this left-hand side. Scots takes a nick on its way into the box. Dykes will go for it, but it's a header half away. Callum McGregor looking to keep the attack alive. Porteous finds McGregor. Here's Porteous. Tried to knock it forward to Christie, but Norway have it back, and Haaland has it into feet. Across halfway he goes. Rolls it to Odegaard. 2 in red to his left. Haaland ahead of him. Little chip ball. Robertson does well to get his head to it, and Angus Gunn holds on. Angus Gunn's first goal he's conceded as a Scotland goalkeeper. Erling Haaland smashing home the penalty.
Well, he's certainly come to life in this second half. He looks a lot more threatening on that occasion. A lovely take and give and go with Odegaard. If it was Odegaard, should have played it along the ground rather than trying to scoop it up to him. It was interesting, he kind of ran into Ryan Porteous just as he was playing the 1-2, and Ryan Porteous was like, he'd hit a brick wall. He was just straight down. Haaland, I mean, he really is a machine.
Maybe get back to Willie Miller in the studio at the next suitable point just to see what he's thinking about these final now, less than 25 minutes of the 90. It is Norway with Ryerson on this near side, bought by Robertson, and out for a Norway throw-in. Willie?
Yeah, well, I think the last thing you want to do is, go too gung-ho at this stage. I think there's still enough time. maybe the last 10 minutes or so, you can throw everything at it to try and get something from the game. But it's been a much better second half, much more open, still strewing with mistakes, I must say, as well. But I think Scotland have obviously got to just up the tempo a little bit and hope that they get something from some decent play in the second half.
Dykes looking for McTominay. Norway have enough to get it away. Here's Hickey trying to pick up the scraps. Hickey's gone down the edge of the box. The referee's not interested. Certainly not been giving any 50-50 Scotland's way, generally speaking, tonight. As Hendry wins the header. Here's McGinn. Could do with some magic from him. Norway leading 1-0, almost on 67. It's Robertson in field to McGregor, to Robertson, who's back onto halfway for Cooper. Cooper for Porteous in the centre circle, goes back to Cooper on the near side. The Norwegian fans getting behind their team. Made some racket all evening long. And we're heading in towards the final quarter of this match. It's the third for both these teams. Norway win this, they're back to within 2 points of the Scots. A much more manageable gap for them. Robertson back to Cooper, to McGregor, and then to Cooper again. Scots are struggling to find space.
Yeah, we've struggled all evening to look a force, certainly creatively. In the final third, Andy Robertson for me has been our most creative player, certainly the only player that's looking to go and drive and take players on.
Porteous, a short ball along the halfway line for McGregor and back into his own half for Hendry. Hendry, of course, survived that penalty appeal from the Norwegians not long before the one that was given. As Hickey passes it back to Hendry. Out to McTominay, wide on that right-hand side. Infield for Callum McGregor, it's the Celtic captain. Back to Hendry of Club Bruges. Poor touch by Cooper. And then he fouls Odegaard, does he? Yep, the referee will give the free kick. And there will be a free kick to the Norwegians inside the centre circle. Liam Cooper's first pass was terrible. And then he was forced into that panicky situation when he had to bring Martin Odegaard down.
Was it a pass or was it his touch? It was difficult to see, but it was bad. Whatever it was, really risky. Last man as well, almost. Definite foul on Odegaard.
Norway free kick, they'll be in no hurry to take. A 1-0 win will suit them just fine. Will redress the balance for them, having dropped a couple of points in Georgia. And the Georgians are no mugs, as we will find out on Tuesday night. Here's Odegaard for Norway, who's going to take on Cooper. Rolls it out wide right for Sorloth. The right angle of the box, left foot deflected and just wide. I thought that was going in. It's going to be a corner. Came off a Scottish head on its way. It's a left-footed effort, and it's just whizzed past that far post. So close to being 2-0. It stays at 1 with little over 20 of the 90 left.
You could tell as soon as Sorloth picked that ball up, he had one thing in his mind, driving in on his left foot. It was a decent enough shot, and then it just clips off. Whose head did it come off? It might have been Henry's, I think, and as I was the same as you, Liam, it was actually the shoulder of Porteous. It's only inches past the post. Inches.
He was looking at the replays and shaking his head in frustration.
No wonder.
On the big screens. Norway corner, in it comes, headers, which is wide. It was Berga, who's not long on. He's on the 6-yard line. It's another chance for Norway. They could be more than 1-0 up. They should be more than 1-0 up here in Oslo tonight. 70 on the clock. Norway 1, Scotland 0, and Sander Berge has missed their latest big chance.
He's got to score that. I think it comes off his shoulder. I mean, this is a header, a free header. It's a sitter. Free header, 5 yards out, and it just completely and utterly sclaffs it off his shoulder. I think it was. That is a proper miss.
One ball forward by the Scots. Dykes wins the header, but it's going to be harmless. It's going to go behind for the goal kick to the Norwegians. Something's going to have to change for the Scots if they are to become involved in this football match, because they are not right now, I'm afraid to say. Here on Sports Sound, BBC Radio Scotland, across the frequencies on digital and online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. But in the Uleval in Oslo, and Scotland, as it stands, will be going home with no points.
We don't seem to enjoy the summer games, do we? Same last year at this time. We put in 2 poor performances. This evening has been as poor as we've been in since those games, I would say.
bouncing ball. Sorloth, he gets between Robertson and Cooper. He was not favourite to win it, but win it he has. He's off target with the pass though. Now it's Hickey, and he just didn't look like he believed himself, and he's got a fistful of Berga shorts there on the far side. No free kick. Berga knocks it back the way, and Oostegård has found Strandberg, goes back to his goalkeeper. What would you do down there then, Stephen?
Well, I'd be bringing on Lawrence Shankland or possibly Kevin Nisbet. Maybe go with 2 up front. I mean, we need to do something. As I said, 5 minutes ago, if you're going to lose the game, you can lose it 2-0, having a go, or you can try and get back into it. What have we got now? 19 odd minutes. There will be, of course,
18 now, yeah.
Injury time, as there always is now, but I'd like to see some more attacking players come onto the pitch, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to watch the head-to-head as well. You don't want to, I mean, normally you would say you're as well losing 2 or 3-0 as you are 1-0, but actually, you take this as a two-legged tie almost. You don't want to be on the receiving end of too big a drubbing as Norway come forward, and it was Houseness forward. His pass though too powerful for Haaland to get onto, and it's back with Angus Gunn. It stays Norway 1, Scotland 0.
Haaland's movement again is sensational. The pass again not quite the same. Is that Andy Robertson that's down?
Yeah, could be another blow here.
It's not what we want to see.
This evening potentially going from bad to worse. He's been arguably Scotland's best player tonight.
He's been, for me, he has been, absolutely.
And that's another injury stoppage, so the players coming over to...
Well, you just wonder, was Tierney taken off because he was injured? You would hope not, but we certainly don't want Andy Robertson and Tierney injured. However, we do have good cover in those areas.
It's great. I mean, Hickey could play there, and obviously Greg Taylor's had a fine season with Celtic. What's that's come into this box?
It's a dragonfly, and it's absolutely massive. My God. Close the door.
It's gone out the door.
Thankfully.
Quickly close it.
Oh my, that was a moment of sheer terror there.
It's about the same size as Erling Haaland.
Oh, I thought it was a peregrine falcon. Oh my word. Right, okay. That's got my heart rate up more than the game did.
Well, Andy Robertson's still down receiving treatment. There's no sign that they're going to have to make a substitution, but Robertson is back in his feet. Seems to be moving okay. As the Norway players throw their water bottles away and get back onto their positions. 74th minute of the match. Norway 1, Scotland 0.
Wouldn't surprise me if it was something like cramp, given the temperature. But yeah, he's going to go back on, thankfully.
We've got Scotland-Georgia for you on Tuesday evening on Matchday 4 for the Scots. Norway have got Cyprus here on Tuesday night, so they'll fancy they're winning that game. And as we were discussing on the podcast yesterday, you do not want to be in a position where you have to go to Spain to get a result where you need points to qualify against the big seeds in the group, despite the fact they did beat them at Hampden. It'll be an altogether different challenge doing it over there. It is Porteous for the Scots. Game on again. Back with Hendry to Gunn at the edge of his 6-yard box. Rolls it to Cooper on this near side. Cooper's long ball looking for Dykes, takes it down beautifully. But he did eventually manage to find Christie. I thought it'd taken too long, but Christie can't
He's
get
had a tough night,
anyway.
is Lyndon Dykes. I'm a big fan of his, but it's been a tough shift for him this evening. Not been at his best in terms of his ball retention. He's had a real struggle.
Down there, I think they are going to make a couple of changes. Kenny McLean and Billy Gilmore are down there.
Armstrong,
and so Stuart Armstrong, yeah.
3 midfielders. Surely you've got to look at a striker.
Allen's in behind Cooper, right-hand side of the box. Waits for support, disguises the pass. Now it's with Auchness, right-hand side of the Scotland box. Low ball across, easily cut out by Hendry. And now it's with Robertson on this near side. The Scots have kind of fallen right out of it. They started the second half okay. It was going from one end to the other for a while. And since the initial penalty claim, the one that wasn't given, it's been all Norway, and of course they converted one themselves through Haaland. And we're in the final 14 in Oslo. 1-0 to the Norwegians. Here's Callum McGregor. Rolls it out to the right-hand side for Porteous. They've had some magic moments under Steve Clark. Have these Scotland players? Can they come up with one here against the odds? As things stand, it doesn't look likely, but he's going to make changes. As the manager. There's McGregor out to Porteous. back to McGregor. It's not a great ball by Ryan Porteous, who's asking too much of Callum McGregor, and Norway are able to get it clear. Here's Hendry, and then McGregor. He wants Hickey in that position, looking to get cross balls in, not one of the centre backs.
Yep.
Cooper to McGregor in the centre circle, and now McTominay. McTominay switching the play out to this left-hand side for Robertson. Robertson taking on Ryerson. This time it's the Borussia Dortmund Norwegian right back who comes out on top. Flips it to Odegaard. And now it's picked up on the near side by Sorloth. He's been a menace all evening long. He cuts in field this time. He's away from Christie. And then he decides to just roll it back away to Oostegard. And now it's with Berg. Short ball to Strandberg, and now Odegaard. Odegaard taking his time, and then he decides to go back to Strandberg. Norway have a man down. Now Sorloth's gone down off the ball.
He's holding his calf, is he?
Yeah, maybe when he chopped inside there, he's done something, some kind of damage. Here come the changes for the Scots. Callum McGregor's going to be replaced by Billy Gilmore, who finished the season strongly with Brighton in the English Premier League.
Good to see him back in the pitch.
Yeah. On he comes. He was man of the match, wasn't he, at Wembley a couple of summers ago, Euro 2020. Armstrong will come on for Christie. That's more of a like-for-like change. That's the Gilmore-McGregor one is. And Kenny McLean. Now, it'll be interesting to see who he's coming on for. And it is going to be, I can't see the number there. Yeah, it's Porteous, 15. So a little rejig at the back.
Yeah,
looked at 4.
Yep. I wonder who'll be asked to go and be the one that's closest to Dykes. Probably John McGinn.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? And Armstrong could get up there as well. But
yeah.
We're on 78.5 minutes here in Oslo, and it's the Norwegians leading by 1-0 in a game that they simply have to win. I mentioned it earlier as Mohamed El Yanoussi replaces Sorloth, who, as we said, was down on the deck. And
decent game, Sorloth. Decent game he did. Should have scored.
Yeah, the best chance of the first half. Mohamed El Yanoussi had those back-to-back loan spells at Celtic. He's just left Southampton, and he comes on. He's a regular starter for Norway, to be fair.
Good player.
For a place on the bench.
Yeah, he's a good player.
And there's confirmation of the Norwegian change by the fourth official down there. So that's stoppage in play. Triple change for the Scots, and he's got to just hope that it's going to pay off for him. But El Yanoussi's just one ahead of McLean. Haaland goes after it, but Cooper gets there before the big striker, and he nods it back to his goalkeeper. 10 minutes to play. Let's find out what Willie Miller's making of the closing stages of this match. Can the Scots get something out of it? Willie Miller.
Well, it's interesting changes, isn't it? I think Callum McGregor's had a poor game. I wasn't surprised with that change, and Billy Gilmore coming on to try to get a hold of the midfield. Armstrong, Christie. Again, Christie's worked hard, but it's a kind of a natural change. Porteous coming off. I think changing the shape, giving a little bit more responsibility to the two centre backs, and it should allow more in midfield and up top as well. It should encourage Scotland to go forward. So I think it's positive changes, but changes that were necessary.
That's us in the final 10 minutes in Oslo of the regulation 90. Liam Cooper in possession, well inside his own half though. Out to Robertson, back to Cooper. Norway have pressed the game well today.
Yeah, there's a lack of movement though. You know, the ball's gone from Robertson to Cooper to Robertson to Cooper. They're both looking in front of them. There's nothing there.
Here's Gilmore, first feel of the ball for the midfielder. He finds McLean. He goes back the way to Robertson. Robertson with a big switch, looking for Hickey. He's found him as well. Brilliant ball. Aaron Hickey's got Armstrong on the touchline ahead of him. Melling comes to meet him. Armstrong's short ball to Gilmore. Gilmore then rolls it out to Hickey wide on that right hand side to McTominay. Now Gilmore. Scots trying to work their way up the pitch. I'm going to go back the way though to Hendry, to Cooper in the centre circle. Ball forwards, poor. Straight onto the head of Ryerson. He nods it, cushion header forward to El Yanoussi. He goes long, looking for Haaland, who I think was in an offside position. He's chasing it anyway. Hickey tries to beat him to it, and Haaland brings Hickey down, surely. Yep, free kick. And no card for Haaland. A couple of Scotland players were booked for similar challenges in the game. 81 on the clock, 1-0 to the Norwegians, who are going to make, I think, 3 changes themselves here.
Yeah, Haaland, I think you're right, might have been offside. No, he might have been on actually, and then he's just in a foot race with Hickey. Hickey gets there a millisecond before him, and he barges into him with his shoulder. Definite free kick. Well done, Billy.
Given away in the end, but the referee's blown the whistle. It'll be a Scotland free kick right at the centre circle. Almost an 82. Norway 1, Scotland 0. Cooper in possession in the centre circle, finds Robertson. Robertson, low ball to his right for Hickey. Out to the right hand side for Armstrong. Now down the line for McTominay. He's out towards the corner flag. Scott McTominay back the way to Hickey. Hickey to Gilmour. They're popping it around pretty well at the moment. It's a poor ball by Gilmour. He gets it back, smashes it straight off Berg, and out for a Scotland throw in level with the edge of the D of the Norway box over on that far side. Still the 3 Norwegians wait to come on. It's with Hendry. It's played back out wide right for Hickey to Armstrong. The Scots find a late equaliser. It's getting to that point. Here is Robertson, left-footed, bends the ball in. It's not the worst one. Dykes heads it back, but there was a shove by McTominay as the cross came in, and Norway have a free kick inside their own box, and now they will make their changes. They're going to bring off Patrick Berg. That's the first alteration, and they're going to bring on Jorgen Strand Larsen, who plays for Celta Vigo in Spain. And the other change is Haaland's night is done, and he won't have the wild celebrations after the game tonight as he did last week. He and Manchester City partied, but he will come off with 7 minutes to play plus stoppages.
22 goals and 24 appearances now for Norway. I mean, it's just phenomenal. He's shown glimpses tonight throughout the game. I thought he was quiet in the first half. Second half he's looked more dangerous. Obviously won the penalty, scored the penalty. For me, I think the penalty was a soft decision.
Yeah.
But he'll be happy, and there'll be no chat about him bevying after this if it stays the same scoreline.
Mats Möller-Daly of Nuremberg in Germany in the second tier there has come on for Haaland, and they've also brought on Christian Torsved of Sassuolo in Italy, and he has come on for Ausnes. 84 on the clock. Norway 1, Scotland 0. Ståle Solbakken clearly feels he can put Haaland into storage ahead of the game against Cyprus here now on Tuesday. He's the man who's going to be the match winner by the looks of things. Here comes Birger Meling down the left from Norway, left hand side of the Scotland box, up against Hickey. Rolled back up the line. We've got 3 in red and navy blue waiting in the middle for the cross ball. There's Odegaard, lovely turn. He gets the break of the ball, right foot shot, blocked well by Jack Hendry, and then McGinn comes away with it. He's under pressure though. 2 or 3 around him, he's gone down, and the referee's going to give the free kick, and Odegaard is smashing the pitch in frustration at the decision made by the Slovenian referee, and it will be a free kick to the Scots, left of the centre circle. Well, I mean, that show of petulance should be a yellow card, surely.
I thought so, yeah, but I mean, I felt as though John was lucky to win the free kick there. I felt as though he dwelled on the ball a wee bit, allowed the 2 Norwegian midfielders to get back at him. We'll see a wee run of it now. Yeah, it's not a foul. It's not a foul. He's been lucky to win that one.
Just over 25,000 inside the stadium. It's been announced. Here is McTominay out to the right hand side. Of course, the overall capacity of the stadium's 28, but UEFA take away a lot of those seats as the Scots collect here with Cooper. Square ball to Robertson, and then to Hendry.
We just don't look like threatening, do we? We've had 3 efforts on goal in the whole game, 1 on target. Just really kind of lacking ideas.
Kenny McLean picks up wide on the left, midway inside the Norway half. Low ball back to Robertson. We're in the final 5 of the 90 here. 1-0 Norway. Scotland with Hickey wide on that right hand side. Goes back to Hendry. Scotland scored, all changes again. It just doesn't look likely.
No. You never know, Liam. Just takes one chance. I'd like to have seen Shankland or Nisbet coming on. I mean, like, when you need a goal, Shankland, the amount of goals the guy scored this season, Nisbet also had a good season. Chuck them on.
Here's Cooper, and the Scots square ball for Hendry. Now it's with McTominay in the middle. Forward to McGinn, holding off Odegaard, popping it through. McLean didn't have his eyes on it. Dykes gives chase. He gets there. Goal! Lyndon Dykes scores! Late salvation in Oslo for Scotland. The ball popped through to Dykes, and he gets the slightest, faintest of touches on it to put it past the goalkeeper Nyland. And the Scotland players celebrate over in the corner down in this near side. That is a massive goal for the Scots. It is a massive goal for the Tartan Army, who celebrate wildly up the other end. In the Ullaval, with 3 minutes of the 90 to play, it is Norway 1, Scotland 1.
When we said where's the goal going to come from, it actually comes from a massive error from Norway at the back, but we will take that most definitely. Lyndon Dykes was proactive, followed it in, but their Norwegian defence, they just stood and watched. They thought each other were going to take the ball and clear it. Nobody did. Dykes popped up and just, as you rightly said, being the slightest of touches past the goalkeeper. That's what you call a smash and grab.
Do you know what? There's something about this team right now. There is something about them, something in the air. And Lyndon Dykes just flicked it with the outside of the right boot past the goalkeeper, and it's one apiece. Steve Clarke, arms in the air in celebration, and now this is fine. A draw is fine.
Great result if we get a draw. I mean, you've got to feel for Kevin Nisbet, who'd been shouted up by Steve Clarke to come on 2 seconds before the goal was scored. I doubt we'll see him now.
And of course they've taken Haaland off of Norway. Here's Armstrong knocking it through to McTominay. Can it get even more sensational? McTominay's early ball, looking for Dykes. McGinn's in behind. McGinn turns it back. Dykes is there. Back to McGinn. Goal! I cannot believe what I'm seeing here. Kenny McLean rolls it into the bottom right corner of the net, and we are seeing something so special from this Scotland side. The Norwegians do not know where to look, and Kenny McLean rolls home what might well be a sensational winner for Steve Clarke's Heroes on a night when it looked like they were going to be defeated. It's a night that it looks like they might actually come out with a victory in. Norway 1, Scotland 2. That's Norway 1, Scotland 2.
I just can't believe what I've seen in the last 2 minutes. It's actually a brilliant finish from Kenny McLean on his weaker foot. Lyndon Dykes backs in from the cross ball. John McGinn sclaps his shot. It goes to Dykes, but his intelligence to see the run from Kenny McLean and just lay it off to him. And Kenny, that is so composed. What a finish from Kenny McLean. I mean, it's astonishing. 5 minutes ago we're saying we've not created anything. You know, where's a goal going to come from? We've banged 2 in the space of a minute, and we're going. It looks like we're going home with 3 points. We are flying, and that, by the way, my friend, puts paid to Norway. You can forget them in the group if the scoreline stays the same. Sensational.
I'm sorry for losing the plot momentarily there, but that was. I mean, I just honestly can't believe what I'm seeing here. Kenny McLean's second international goal. His only other one came against San Marino. They won that game, but the mood in the camp at that time was awful. It was poisonous. There was disconnect between the supporters and the team and the manager at the time. And yet here we go, and Dominic Hyam's going to get his international debut to try and incredibly preserve 3 priceless points for Scotland. This is a you were there moment when that goal goes in from Kenny McLean. It's one of those you'll never forget this moment.
Well, I was hating
going to win this game.
I was hating the game, Liam. It was awful. And then here we are. And actually, one of my favourite things was how red your face went during the commentary there when you were describing the second goal.
Puce, I think, is the colour. 6 minutes being added, apparently.
Puce.
6 minutes away from an incredible victory. Norway come forward. Game back on here in Oslo. Free kicks gone Scotland's way. But in the first of those 6 minutes, by the way, well, whatever Steve Clarke has been giving them over the last couple of years, it's absolutely wonderful, because he's turned this ship right round to the point where you've now got a team that looks fit for finals, looks fit for qualifying for major championships.
I would agree. You know, the kind of impressive thing about us is the strength and depth of the squad that we have now. You look at the 3 substitutes that have come on, all very, very capable players. And it would have been easy out there at 1-0 in this heat to just kind of put the tools away. What a reaction. I didn't see it coming. I did not see it coming, but phenomenal. This is a seismic result. It really is.
Not over yet, though. Just one of the 6 minutes has been played. 2-1 Scotland. It is Martin Odegaard. If you went out and made yourself a cup of tea and returned it 2 or 3 minutes later, everything has completely changed. But Norway have won themselves a free kick up the pitch here. It's midway inside the Scotland half. It's just slightly left the centre. It's going to be a chance for the Norwegians to get the ball into the Scotland box. Kenny McLean and Lyndon Dykes have completely changed not just the complexion of this game, but the complexion of Euro 2024 qualifying Group A. Chance here though for Norway. Martin Odegaard stands over this free kick. The referee not happy with where he's taking it from. 2 goals in 2 minutes for the Scots, turning the tide. Odegaard stands over the free kick here in second half stoppage time. Left-footed ball, he's rolled it out to the left, misunderstanding of Melling, who's unable to keep it in play, and it goes behind for the goal kick. 2.5 of the 6 minutes negotiated. Norway 1, Scotland 2.
That was just awful, absolutely awful. They've got a chance for Odegaard to either hit it or put it into the box. They're 2-1 down. They know the group's dead for them if they don't do something. And he has a stray pass out for a bye kick for us.
Scotland can get through these next few minutes and then beat Georgia on Tuesday to win their first 4 games in a qualifying section. For the first time ever, they will be within major touching distance of Germany 2024. And Steve Clark said in the wake of that Ukraine game in Krakow last September that he didn't think they'd need the playoff. He said they'd come through the group. As McLean is chopped to the ground by Elyounoussi down below us. And that just eats away a few more precious seconds off that clock.
That was a brilliant goal, that second goal, you have to say. The first one, yeah, we're a bit lucky because of the misunderstanding between the Norwegian defenders. Dykes does well, but that second goal was brilliant. The layoff from Dykes and the finish from Kenny. I mean, he is such a composed, classy player anyway, but on his weaker foot, the way that he rolled it into the bottom corner.
Such a culture.
He made it look easy. He made it look easy.
Angus Gunn with a free kick long with the right foot underneath Ryerson. Dykes is there, he manages to find Gilmore, who overhits the pass. He's going to go behind for the goal kick. He's apologising, but don't apologise. It's again taking more time off the clock. 4 minutes of the 6 that were added on by the Slovenian referee have come and gone. Sander Berge picks up midway inside his own half, rolls it to his right for Strandberg. Strandberg looks up at the pitch, long ball forward. Henry beaten in the jump, it's flicked towards the 18-yard line, but it's the Scots managing to scramble it away. Odegaard onto it on this near side, taking on Gilmore, leaving it for Elyounoussi. Elyounoussi has it, moves into a central area, square ball to Berge. Berge back to Odegaard. Odegaard looks up at the Scottish goal, decides to roll it out wide right. It's a low ball by Ryerson, it's cut out brilliantly there by Robertson, who's been terrific all night, and he gets the ball clear. Norway will come again. About 1.5 minutes left of the injury time. 2-1 Scotland. Sander Berge in possession again as the home team look to find an equaliser. A game they must win. Even a draw's not really enough for the Norwegians tonight, as McLean puts in the challenge down on the near side and Ryerson, and it's out for a throw-in. Bowled back by Ryerson on towards halfway, picked up by Strandberg, who switches it right to left of the circle for Berge. Scotland sitting deep at the moment. It's now Odegaard looking to knock it through, blocked brilliantly again by Robertson. Robertson then sweeps it clear. We're in the final minute now. Norway 1, Scotland 2. Ryerson in the near side, right foot cross ball comes in, headed away brilliantly by Jack Hendry. He's facing his own goal as well, and he gets it outside his box, and the Scots have it with Gilmore out to Armstrong on that right hand side.
Take it to the corner.
Yeah, he's driving up against Berge. He's actually ended up losing it, and it goes back to the goalkeeper. It's about 30 seconds left here. The closing seconds on Sportsound. The most unlikely of victories is almost Scotland's. Cooper goes for it. Cooper not fouled, says the referees. He goes to ground, and it's cleared out to Kenny McLean in the near side. Dumped away by Andy Robertson. Dykes thought about going for it. Comes all the way through to Nyland, the goalkeeper. 10 seconds left. Here is Odegaard. Oh, he's ended it early. It's all over. Absolutely incredible. Scotland have plucked a victory from the jaws of defeat here in Oslo. The most unlikely of successes, and one one of the greatest successes in the modern era of this team. They looked beaten. They looked like they didn't have an idea on how to get back into this one. Having trailed to the Erling Haaland penalty, Norway seemingly cruising towards 3 points in a game they had to win. All changed 87 minutes when Lyndon Dykes scrambled the ball home. A draw would have been fine. A victory is the very definition of marvellous in this group. As Kenny McLean tucked home a wonderful finish after brilliant build-up play by the Scots. The Norway heads were swimming at that point, and the Scots somehow have come to Oslo and have picked up three priceless points that has now put an almost insurmountable gap between themselves and the Norwegians. 8 points is the difference for Stevie Clarke's Group A leaders. They have followed up the sensational win over Spain with this statement victory here in the Norwegian capital. The Tartan Army are celebrating off to our right. They cannot believe it, bathed in Norwegian sunshine. And those £12 pints will taste beautiful this evening for them. There's no question. And with the added poignancy of this coming just a few days after we lost Gordon McQueen, whose last goal for Scotland came in this very stadium. Well, how about that for a tribute? It finished here in Oslo. And I still can't believe I'm about to say this. Norway 1, Scotland 2.
Scotland in the